we come to you from the National Results Center here in Pretoria. As you can see around me, there's not that many people left out here, and that is even before the IEC finally declares the final results. Well, perhaps the reason why most of those people are not here is because over 90% of the results have been reported, and the picture is quite clear in terms of where the parties are. We know who the big losers are, and we know who the big winners are in terms of your dominant parties in this particular election. When we were here a good 2 days ago, that scoreboard behind me actually was all white, but as you can see now, it's all colored with the different color codes from green to yellow to purple and to red, a little bit of sprinkle of red and a little bit of pink towards the KwaZulu-Natal. Now, those are all the municipalities where the IFP has since gained in KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, we know that they were controlling a good 10 municipalities in that province, and now they are looking to double that number in that particular province. And we do know that because elections are already a contentious issue, there are already disputes that are being held, as it were, given the fact that, as we understand, the ANC has asked for a recount in Newcastle and Danhauser municipalities. Now, those are municipalities that the governing party had controlled in 2016. But if you look at the current numbers now coming out of Newcastle, for instance, the ANC is sitting at 31%. And if you come to Gauteng, which is the province with 3 metros now, Gauteng has always been a sore point for the ANC if you look at the 2016 results. Now, that's where the ANC lost 3 of those metros in this particular province. That picture has not changed, actually. Things have gotten worse for the ANC. In fact, out of all the municipalities in this province, the ANC, there's only one municipality, and I think that's Lesedi local municipality, where the ANC was able to get 50%. Actually, it was a slight majority. I think it's 50.05%. And in all other municipalities, be it a metro, be it a local municipality, the ANC has come under 50%. And obviously, that won't be a good picture for the governing party. And perhaps that also explains why there's no one here now from the ANC. There's the ANC stand over there. All the parties were here. Now, all that you have left, you can see there's still members of the EFF that are here. There's a bit of ATM. All the other stands, it looks like everyone has gone home, because it looks like, or in fact, the picture is almost complete with the few remaining results. I think about 8% of those results waiting to be reported. And of all the parties with their leaders, we still have the Secretary-General of the EFF here, Mr. Marshall Dlamini. Mr. Dlamini, thank you very much for your time. I see you were going, when I came here earlier, you were going through the different areas and looking at the growth of the EFF, particularly in the townships of KwaZulu-Natal. Tell us what the picture paints for you guys in those parts.
Look, we are growing, and the numbers are still coming through in eThekwini. We are happy that we put our biggest fight in eThekwini. We wanted the municipality, but look like we're not getting. But we're happy that it's a hanging municipality. To us, for the future prospects of the EFF in KZN, they are good. We've hanged Newcastle municipality and the other municipalities. The whole of Amachuma region it's hanging now, and we still got 20 more municipalities to be declared, and we are very happy with the numbers. At the national level, we're happy. We've got 2.2 million votes already that are in. So far, so good. That's why we said this last 8% is still going to bring more numbers for us, because those are areas.
Talking about that last 8%, I mean, I think in the last overall in the 2016 election, the EFF scored about 8% of the vote. I think this time around you're hovering around 10%. Ideally, where would you want to be?
Look, ideally, we just want to take over and keep growing, but as an organization that we want to grow and have national presence, because ours is not regional. And that's why sometimes people, they make a mistake and say yeah, you don't have a mayor here, you don't have this. But even when we spread our own resources, we make sure that each and every corner in South Africa is occupied, because we're a national organization. So we would have wanted to grow on all the municipalities, but we're happy with this solid and a steady pace that we're getting. Because what is important now is that the numbers that we're getting, they're confirming that we've already got a pace. So we don't have a lot of shifts that 2019 we did well in KZN, all of a sudden KZN is dropping, and then we go and do well in another municipality. It shows that wherever we're building a base, and we're happy with that, because that's what sustains an organization.
Of course, the EFF has put it on record that it wants to bring the ANC under 50%, and it looks like that has happened. In fact, doesn't look like that's what has happened in this particular election, and that automatically means that coalitions will be the order of the day. Now, how do you intend navigating that particular terrain, given the fact that the second biggest party to the ANC is a Democratic Alliance, which has actually said that they do not want to work with the EFF? I have not heard Action SA express themselves in that regard, but of those top 5 parties, they also include the Freedom Front Plus, which has also said they're not willing to work with the EFF. How are you going to navigate those?
Look, it's going to be an interesting one. The leadership of the EFF is going to meet tomorrow, and then we'll have our press conference where we outline our strategy to the nation and to the members of the EFF. It's going to be a difficult one. I can tell you now, because whatever negotiations we're getting into, our people, they must be prioritized first. So, and
what does that mean?
Meaning that things that are on our manifestos, the policies, the commitments that we made there, they're going to have to take the center stage. And now we've taken a decision again that we are participating in government. So we're not just coming in to add numbers or to vote for anyone. We are participating.
So just to be clear, and also for the benefit of our viewers, the EFF in 2016 did not go into coalition, in that they were not part of the makeup of the leadership of those municipalities, but you did lend your support to the DA in some municipalities. So this time around, you are saying you are willing to go into government, in that you will be part of whatever governing structure is put up in those municipalities where you're in coalition?
Not just governing structure, mayor. That's how much we are not playing games. So anyone who's going to come to speak to us, we're not doing that. 5 years was enough. We've learned a lot. We took that decision in 2016 because we wanted to allow our councillors to learn and understand local government. They've done a good job in different municipalities, including here in Gauteng, where our motions were passed. They became the police of the municipality. So this time around, we are participating in the governance, including taking mayor positions.
There are 3 metros in this province, and all 3 of them, the ANC has come under 50%. There's no outright winner. Which one? Where would you want the mineral chain to come from?
Look, we want this one of Tshwane. We want Ekurhuleni. You saw our showing in Ekurhuleni, and Joburg as well, even though Joburg, the numbers are coming, and there are areas that we're going to have to look at as EFF that we're not happy, but we're still waiting for the final result. But Tshwane, sure, Ekurhuleni, give us the mayorship, we'll take it. But it's all going to depend on negotiation. But our people, they must be rest assured. It will never be about us. If whoever that we're speaking to, they're not talking to the issues that are outlined on the EFF manifesto, we are still fine to accept the will of the voters of South Africa to say, sit on the opposition benches, and we'll do exactly that. So there's not going to be any compromise in terms of prioritizing the will and the wishes of our people when it comes to the issues of local government, which is service delivery, which is land, which is the issues of jobs. So that one will not compromise.
Now, how do you then navigate, once again, you in 2016 supported the DA, and then that did not work. You withdrew your support in Joburg, you withdrew your support in Tshwane, and similarly in Nelson Mandela Bay. This time around, would you be willing? The DA has said they don't want to work with you. What is the position of the EFF in relation to a party like the DA and the Freedom Front Plus in terms of coalitions?
Look, we don't enter coalitions on the basis of emotions. Even 2016, it was not an emotional decision. There were things that were put on the table for DA and the ANC And the priority at that time, it was an issue of insourcing, which DA agreed to it, and we insourced here in Johannesburg, we insourced in Tshwane and Nelson Mandela. But when they started voting against us on the issues of land in the National Parliament, that's when we went to remove trolley. So some of their leaders, you know them, they're racist, so they are still hurt. So the issue of saying we won't work with the EFF, it's not based on anything except that they are just racist and they are still hurt of what we did to trolley. And we're not apologizing for that. So we'll see. Where they've not spoken to us, we don't have issues. We're going to listen to all political parties, including the racist one like Freedom Front Plus, including DA. They've not spoken to us, but we're listening to them. But we're not going to go there.
So you are telling me of who you have not spoken to, but can you tell us who has started speaking to you?
No one. We're only meeting tomorrow. So first, as a leadership of the organization, and then there's going to be a team that is established, which will be led by our deputy president, to go and start those negotiations. We have not spoken to anyone.
Where are you starting? The Julie House?
To speak. No. We're just going to put our team and then announce to all political parties that the deputy president and this team, the leadership, has taken a decision. They are the ones that are going to lead the negotiations. And then whoever needs us, then they will call us. So, but whoever is calling us, they must know that we are going into government.
Right. Marshall Dlamini is the Secretary-General of the EFF. There you have it, saying that tomorrow will be a big day. Of all the parties, the only party that has declared openly that they are already in talks with the ANC was Al-Jamaa last night, when I spoke to their leader Hanif Hendricks, who had pointed out that he had already been approached by the ANC, particularly in Gauteng, in fact in the city of Johannesburg, where they are part of that coalition. But as you could hear, that this time around the EFF is not just willing to lend their support to any party without being part of the governing structure in any of the municipalities. They're quite clear that they want that mayoral change, particularly here in Tshwane. Now, Tshwane is a bit of a tricky one in that if you look at the numbers that the ANC obtained here and the DA, they're very close. I think the ANC is sitting at 33%, and then you have the DA at 30%, which then means that at least any party of those two that forms a coalition will need either an EFF, in fact will need an EFF and Action SA. I think it will be quite an interesting one there, because if you look at all the makeup of all the smaller parties and you try to work out different permutations, you realize that even the parties that are saying they're not willing to work with each other, that they might need each other, particularly here in Tshwane. I think in Ekurhuleni it's a totally different story altogether, given the fact that the ANC is sitting there with about 38% of the vote, and if you add to that the 12, and I think EFF is anything between 12 and 15%, it would be enough to take the ANC over the 50 or 51% mark in that municipality. But in Tshwane, the picture is slightly different, and I think in Joburg as well the picture is slightly different, and I think those results will actually force your political enemies to sit around the table and find a way, because at the end of the day governments will have to be formed, and we know that tomorrow is not just a big day for the different political parties, it's also a big day for the IEC, because that's the day when they declare the results. And we do expect that at 6 p.m. tomorrow there will be that ceremony where the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, will also be present. And also it will be a significant one, given the fact that it will be the first time that we see him at the National Results Center, which is also where the ANC, other various ANC leaders have been. We saw Gwede who's their national chairperson, earlier today. We saw Jesse Duarte, who has been here over the past 2 days, but it will be the first time that the president will be here. But of course he'll be coming wearing his hat as the President of the Republic. But of course everyone's eyes will be on him, given how the ANC has fared under his leadership, and of course that will be subject of political football or political ping pong within the ANC. I'm sure the various factions within the party have already started apportioning blame at each other. What does this mean for the ANC going forward? Will they suddenly put paid to what they've always promised their supporters, which is to say that they will deal with corruption decisively, or will it be more of the same? It looks like the voters are not listening to empty promises, and I guess that's what the ANC will have to contend with. But when it comes to this center, I'm going to just allow my colleague to pen a bit and try and see it, zoom into that scoreboard where you see the numbers. We are now sitting at 93%. Now that 93% is what has been reported. Now those are the results that are already posted. We had, I know some people, there's been a confusion about 99% of the votes and the 93%. The 99% is what has already been captured in the system of the IEC, meaning that all those results are in, subject to them being validated, subject to them being audited, subject to them being added onto the total tally, making up, rounding off these particular elections. So that tells you that we are a mere few hours away before we have that final result. And tomorrow, even though we know that there are still some disputes that are being had, we know that there's a call for a recount. When I had a conversation earlier with the chairperson of the IEC, Glenn Mashinini, informally, he did say that the issues of recount are not unusual, in that actually in 2016 there were disputes in Tshwane and in Johannesburg, that those two cities were the last cities to come in and declare their results. And that's it from myself for tonight. That's it. We will now hand over to my colleague Sbu Ngalwa, who will take you until the early hours of the morning, and he will hand over to my two colleagues of the AM report, that's Ayanda Nyati and Michelle Craig. Bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. we will still be able to bring you rolling coverage right from the National Results Center. Chabo.